Hi everyone, I have a video today on how to draw some facial features. Now these are very quick sketches, but they'll give you a basic idea about how to do some facial proportions, eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. I'll also attach some other references for you so that you can spend a little bit more time practicing if you have any questions. So without further ado, here are some facial features. Okay, so I'm going to start drawing out a basic egg shape, and that's going to be the generic size of this really generic face. Now I'm going to add in some guidelines that will help with the placement of the facial features. So one line down the center and a horizontal line right across the middle for the eyes. A lot of people, when they start to draw a face, draw the eyes too high. So we're going to make sure those are right in the center of the head. Then halfway between the eyes and the bottom, the chin is the nose, and halfway between that and the chin is the mouth. Now I'm going to start to draw the eyes right on this line, and I want to show that the size of the eye should be the same distance in between the eyes. So think about the eyes being about an eye width apart. I'm going to sketch in a little bit more detail on the eyes. This isn't about the detail, it's really just about the placement of the facial features. Now your eyes are part of a whole eye socket. So if you go from like bags under your eyes all the way up to your eyebrow, that's going to make this whole circle. So I'm going to sketch that in, and the eyebrows are at the very top line of this circle. And if you have bags under your eye, that's under the bottom part of the circle. Now for the nose, I'm going to sketch out just 3 circles, a larger circle in the center and 2 small ones on the sides. That's going to be a placement for my, my nose and nostrils. If I connect them along the bottom, I get a nice, easy, simple nose. And the nose is about the width of the space in between the eyes. Now, this is an average face. It's a little different for everyone. Now, the mouth is going to sit right above this mark that I drew. So if you draw a mark halfway between the nose and the chin, that's going to be the bottom of the mouth. So the mouth is this curved line that usually points downward in the center and then curves out. And the edges of the mouth should line up with about the center of the eyeballs. And there you have some simple facial proportions. I'm sketching some other little marks in here, but that's the basic idea. You'll have a mark for the chin, and now we're going to add in the ears. Now ears are placed about from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. So again, that's an average marking. Everyone's face is different, but that'll help you figure out about where to place them. Then the hairline is going to come up on the forehead. Make sure that you leave enough forehead that the person's hair doesn't start right at their eyebrows, and then they have the hair that sticks off, comes off above the head here. I'm going to draw in some lines from the neck, which do start about at the ears. Make sure they curve so they don't look like the Hulk. And then I'm going to draw in some lines for a shoulder. So these are real basic facial proportions. Everyone's face, again, is different, but this is the average. And then you look at this and see how to adjust that for the face that you need. So now I'm going to zoom in and talk about some specific features. So let's talk about that circle of the eye socket. So I started with a big circle here, and in the center of that circle is going to be the almond shape for the eye. All right, so see how the points touch both opposite sides of the circle. Now inside the almond shape, I'm going to put the iris and the pupil. Now I'm going to draw in those little edges of the eye because the white part of the eye is curved, and we have a tear duct on the edge, so I want to make sure we include that. And there are also little eyelid folds above and below the eye, so I'm making sure to include that as well. So now I'm going to fast forward a little bit as I add a little detail to the eye. I'm going to add some highlights in the pupils, shade them in, and then add the eye color pattern. Now if this were in color, obviously that's where the colored part of the eye would be. I'm just representing that with some lines that stem out from the pupil, and then I'm going to shade those in a little bit. So now I'm adding some eyelashes. Now the eyelashes go along the top edge of the eye, and they curve outwards. So those are little lines that start at the edge of that line, and I'm flicking the pencil outwards to get those curves. They are not all the same, so don't worry about making them exact. Now, This bottom part of the circle, again, is where like a circle under the eye would be. And the eyebrow sits right on top of that circle. Now I'm just sketching a really quick eyebrow shape so you get the idea. But there is your basic eye. So now for a nose, I'm going to show you the 3-circle trick, with the center circle larger for the front of the nose, and then 2 circles on the side will become the nostrils. So after I sketch them in, I'm going to outline them at the edges and the bottom, and then kind of curve them where they the small circles meet the center circle. I'm going to add a little definition with some extra lines here at the bottom. And then this is the edge of the nose that leads up to where the eyes and the eyebrows are. So again, this is very quick and very generic, but it should give you a basic proportions for nostrils and nose. And again, everyone's is different, so this is just real simple, showing you about where eyes and mouth might be on a face like this. So speaking of a mouth, I'm going to start drawing the center line of the mouth, and this would be either the crease in between the lips, right? And see how it has that kind of really flattened out M shape. You want to make sure that the lines of the lips really curve that way. I'm adding in some little marks for highlights and texture, but you get the idea. Now, if the mouth is open, you're still going to have that M shape, but I'm adding the top lip now, and I've left some room for the opening of the mouth. I'm going to put a real cool, wow, that's terrible, a bottom lip underneath here, but you get the idea. I'm going to draw in just a line for where the bottom edge of the top teeth are. Now I'm going to fill in some inside the mouth, maybe see a little bit of tongue. I'm going to shade in the top lip, and there we go. So now let's take a look at drawing an ear. So think about an ear almost like a capital letter C, in this case a backwards one, or like the handle of a coffee mug is a good shape to describe an ear. Now ears have lots of funky folds on the inside, and again every ear is different, but I'm drawing in just some generic folds. You've got the ear lobe at the bottom, and then there's this part that sticks out kind of right in the center, and then you have these creases that kind of fold in the ears on the inside, so you can't really see it now, but I'm sketching those in. And that's my basic ear shape. I'm going to include some hair. I hope that these helped. There are lots of great resources online for facial features, so check them out.